Hello YouTube. This is a video response to Shazoolo's video, and in his video, I'm going to put the link below by the way. In his video he talks about what a Christian should do if they come across someone within the occult community who have worked with spirits and have never had any kind of negative experience with the spirits. The popular view from the Christian point of view is the fact that if you contact a spirit or if you contact a ghost, you're not really contacting spirits or ghosts, you're contacting demons. So if you want to, say, contact your dead grandmother or your dead friend, and you might want to ask them for advice or whatever, you're not really contacting them, you're contacting a familiar spirit, or you're contacting how should I say, some demon or big bad evil thing that's pretending to be your friend or pretending to be your dead grandma or whatever. That's the popular Christian view. Although I will say this, that there are some Christians who don't agree with this. I know from personal experience. I know of one gentleman who I thought he believed this, but when he was in a situation where one of his dead relatives came to him, he didn't call it a familiar spirit. He didn't call it a demon. He thinks that it's his dead relative, which I think is kind of telling. But anyway, more about that at another time. There's a guy named Kanaz Filan that loves to give this great analogy when asked about the spirits. The popular view is, from the Christian standpoint, as I said, is all spirits except for maybe angels or whatever are evil, and that they're demons that are trying to either possess you or trying to get you to do bad things. Well, my take on it is like this, and this is Kanaz Filan's analogy. Dealing with the spirits is much like driving a car. You're driving a car, you get in your car, you usually get from point A to point B with no problem, right? And the reason why you get to point A to point B with no problem is because when you're driving, you're looking both ways, you're scanning the area, you're making sure that no idiot is trying to cut you off, you're making sure that no one's running out in front of your car, which makes you have to slam on brakes. You're making sure that you're not going over the speed limit so you don't get caught with a speeding ticket. Just basic stuff that when you're driving a car you do when you're driving a car, and usually you get to point A to point B if you're a good driver with no problem. Well, it's like that when you're dealing with the spirits too. If you approach a spirit in a respectful manner, if you take time to make sure that your ritual area is clean, if you take time to take a ritual bath, if you take time to use salt, a lot of witches use salt in their rituals, if you take time to call upon your ancestors doing the rituals, if you take time to just make sure that, as I said before, you respect them and you approach them in a respectful manner, nothing usually happens. Now there are times when you're doing a ritual where things happen. Sometimes something might slip in, and usually when something like that happens, you don't have to call an exorcist to get these things to leave. It happened to me a couple of times, and it didn't happen to me while doing ritual, by the way. It happened to me doing a dreams while I was dreaming. Now, first of all, you can always say that you just had a stupid nightmare, which I do not rule out. Could have been a nightmare. But in one instance, I remember that I was asleep and I felt that something was chasing me or something was trying to get to me or whatever. And I just turned around and I confronted the thing, and the thing went away. And that's happened to me a couple of times. Um, I was in a situation, and it's usually, like I said, it happens when I'm asleep, and you feel something. I actually had one instance, and Shazoolo is probably gonna love this, where I felt that something was actually trying to leave my body, and I told it, "No, you're not gonna do this," and the thing went away. And in that instance, I did not call my minister, the local minister rather. I didn't go running back to Christianity. I didn't pray to Jesus or Allah or whoever. I just used the force of my will to get that thing or whatever it was away from me. And people who do that, people who have some type of bad experience, and the first thing they do is go running back to Jesus, maybe that's a good thing, because they shouldn't be involved in this area, point blank. It's not for them. But me personally, when I have to deal with something like this, I just use my will against these things. That's one of the reasons why witches like myself, we call on the ancestors. Well, of course, the ancestors are really demons, according to Shazoolo. But from my point of view, a lot of times when I cast a circle, along with calling on the god and the goddess and the elementals, I will also call upon the ancestors. Because your ancestors are the ones who truly care about you. Your ancestors care about you more than anyone, because you're the sum total of all their efforts while they were in this realm. They want you to succeed. They want you to be successful. So that's why we call on the ancestors, those of us who, witches who work with necromancy. We call on the ancestors for advice. We call on the ancestors when we cast a circle. We call on the ancestors for things. So that's why we call on the ancestors. And I don't think that they're demons in disguise or anything like that. And you can definitely feel their presence. So, but that's one thing I think that me and Shazoolo do agree on, is that these things are real, but they're not necessarily evil either. And in a lot of cases, they're not necessarily, the spirits in particular are not necessarily good or evil. They just are. There's an old saying within the occult community, as above, so below. And it's like that within the spirit world too. You're dealing with spirits. Not all of them are going to be out for your enlightenment. Not all of the spirits are going to be out to pat you on the back and say, well done, or, keep on, trugging along or whatever, Some of them are just assholes, just like people are assholes, especially ghosts. Because if ghosts are basically people who have passed on to the other side, just because they pass on to the other side doesn't mean that they've somehow become enlightened. If they were an asshole in this lifetime, they could be an asshole in the afterlife too. So you have to deal with that. And there are things, it's like Lovecraft said. There's also things lurking around that that really do not have your best interests. So what do? When you're doing a ritual, make sure that you use protection. One of the things that's really good, say if you find yourself under attack by some demon or whatever, iron is really good. For some reason, spirits don't like, the bad spirits rather, don't like iron. Supposedly that's why they use iron in prisons. They have people locked behind iron bars, because iron is supposed to keep out bad spirits or bad energy or whatever. I don't know if this is that true. I don't know, but that's what I heard. But anyway, let me see if I can find some more points that Shazoolo talked about in this video. One of the things that he talked about in another video that he made, I guess this is sort of like his testimony. he talked about his girlfriend at the time was somehow possessed by some spirit or something, and he was in contact with it and he was talking to it or whatever. Well, see, this is where Occam's razor comes in. What's more plausible? Is it more plausible that your girlfriend was somehow possessed by a spirit or a demon? I say demon, not spirit. Was your girlfriend possessed by a demon at the time, or did she have some mental health issues? What's more plausible? I think what's more plausible is that she had some mental health issues, that were not addressed. Now, it could be possible that she was possessed by some demon, whatever. But let's say that the light bulb that's right over here that you can't see. Let's say you have a light bulb. And let's say that there's two possibilities of that light bulb lighting up. One possibility is that an electric current is going to the light bulb and is causing light to happen, causing the bulb to light up. The other possibility is that there's these little fairies in the light bulb, and every time they flap their wings, the light bulb lights up. Which is more plausible? The little fairies in the light bulb, or electricity? So, I don't know. Maybe she's possessed by something, but I'm just saying, Now, I'm not trying to be, a total smartass about this, but I mean, seriously, I've always had a problem, and I'm not saying that this doesn't happen, but I always had a problem with so-called demon possession. And the reason why I had a problem with this is because why would a demon or Satan or any of these beings want to take time to possess us? Seriously, it would be like me trying to get into the mind of a hamster or something, or a fly buzzing around or something like that. If these things do exist, they're probably so much evolved, more so than we are. Why would they even bother with us, A spirit that is a demon, that is, supposedly is so much smarter than us, so much more advanced than us. Why would it spend time trying to possess us? I mean, what would be the true benefit? Of course, you can say, well, it's because they're under the control of Satan, and Satan is trying to gather people together, and for his minions, for the end of the world, and Armageddon, and whatever. And I'm just not buying it. If there are spirits that are possessing people, I think they would probably be possessing politicians. Maybe that's why this country is in the state it's in right now, because evil spirits are possessing the minds of politicians, and they're making policies that really suck. Okay, I'm just being silly here, but I mean, seriously, it's just something that I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I think that if it does happen, it's few and far between. So that's my take on spirit possession. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about in regards to this. Let's see. Oh, one of the things I want to say is, and I think I mentioned this a little earlier, is if you find yourself in a situation where you're under attack by some type of spirit or some type of entity, just tell it to go away. Most of the time, that's what happens. If you confront it and you're not scared of it, it goes away. You don't have to call your local priest or minister or go running back to Jesus or anything like that. Just confront it. A lot of times, these things, as I said, they will go away. There's also salt, as I said earlier. If you're sleeping and if you find that you're having a lot of nightmares and you think you're being under attack, put salt at the different corners of your room. Put salt at your different points of your bed, when you're sleeping. Also, frankincense and myrrh. Use that. That's why the Catholic Church uses it.